Hello, and welcome back once again to the Movie Clubhouse Podcast. Today we have a very special episode outlined for you. We are going to dissect and dive deep into MONARCH, Legacy of Monsters. The new Apple TV Plus show that is based on Legendary's Monsterverse is finally here, and we are going to give you our honest opinion on the first 2 episodes. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. As we said, we have just finished watching the first 2 episodes of MONARCH, Legacy of Monsters. And we can say it like this. We enjoyed these 2 episodes. They were great. They were great on many aspects. They weren't the best thing we have seen, we can say that, but they were great. One question that remains after seeing this episode, or what a big question that remains, is where does it all connect? The series felt a little bit complicated in what movies it connects to and what events it connects to. But one thing is for sure, it connects back to the events in San Francisco from a previous Godzilla movie. We can also say for sure that we have not seen all the Godzilla and Kong films that there are out there. We have seen some of them. We have not seen the latest Godzilla vs. Kong, or at least I haven't seen the latest movie. Next year, there will be a new one coming out that's titled Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire. That movie is releasing in 2024. But when talking about the previous films, we have not seen all of them, so we are not an expert on Legendary's Monsterverse, sadly. But we can at least give you a review on this 2 episodes premiere of the series. The series stars Anna Sawai as Kate, Viet Russell as Lee Shaw, and Kurt Russell as an older Lee Shaw, Maria Yamamoto as Keiko, and Ren Watabe as Kentaro. Kiersey Clemons is also playing a character named May. These are the characters that are the most outstanding or has the most screen time in the series as of yet. And we think they give off great performances. There is probably nothing Oscar-winning about this show, but they still give honest and great performances that feel realistic in terms of running around with big monsters, or titans as the monsters are called in this universe. We have not gotten to see Godzilla yet in these first 2 episodes, but for what we have seen in terms of action, it's still pretty solid. It's nothing outstanding, but having some action sprinkled in always makes the show great. This series premiered the first 2 episodes on the 17th of November on Apple TV Plus, so if you don't have that streaming service, there is another one for you to get. When it comes in terms of set design, we think this show did a great job. The sets or the environments that are CGI and that are also some of them are of course practical, look great in this show. We think they feel realistic and blend in very well with the titans and the characters in this show. But we also need to say that there are a lot of episodes in this series. There will be a total of 10 episodes, and we have only yet gotten 2 of them, which means there are 8 remaining. So I don't know what will happen in the following parts of this series, since there will be so many episodes. I feel like there maybe could have been 5 or 6 episodes to this series, but dragging it out to 10, I hope they have a great story to tell. When it comes to the CGI, we also think that it looks pretty great. There is nothing that is wowing us, but for what we have seen in terms of monster or titan CGI, we think it looks pretty realistic as realistic as it could get. We haven't seen that many monsters or titans yet, but for those we have seen in, for example, flashbacks, and some of the later scenes in the second episode, we think it looks great. One thing that bothers us a little bit in this episode is the question is who is who. It got a little bit complicated throughout the 2 episodes, or it got complicated at the start of the first episode, understanding what character is what character in different parts of time. Like in the 1970s and the 2015, the series jumps a little bit all over the place. They are very good at explaining what timeline they are in, or not time. This is not the multiverse, not timeline, but they are very good at explaining for what part in time they are in. So it's pretty obvious to see where and when something's happening. But it got a little bit complicated at first as seeing what character is who, basically. Towards the end of the second episode, it got a little bit better to understand, but I felt like it could have been a little bit less time jumping, but it's still fun to see the time jumping and going to different parts of time in history. When it comes to the dialogue and writing, I think the writing of this show is still pretty great. We haven't seen anything that is making us think it's weird or unrealistic. It's of course unrealistic. It's a MonsterVerse series, but we still think the writing is pretty solid. The characters' lines are pretty good. They are delivered in a good way. There was some line from, I think it was Viet Russell, that sounded a bit cheesy, but it was just one line, so we can forgive them for that, of course. It was nothing major. So far, the story has been good, I think. The 2 episodes has been interesting, and I'm excited to see where the story goes next in the 3rd episodes. Episodes will be dropping on Wednesdays every week for, well, it's 8 weeks to come. So I think the story has been pretty good. It has been interesting. A little bit complicated, maybe, if you haven't seen the other MonsterVerse projects. But still, I think it's been pretty good. I think the show has been interesting, and getting this good mixture of some action, some seriousness, a little bit of funniness sprinkled in there in some scenes, that's always important. Getting some funniness sprinkled in there, that is always important. But I think this far, it's been an interesting journey for the Legendary's MonsterVerse going forward. And in talks of that, Legendary's MonsterVerse, it's all connected in some way. I don't really know how. All movies, including the original, or not original, but the Kong movie and Godzilla vs. Kong, these movies are in the same universe. They tie together. There are a lot of Easter eggs and things that connect in this universe and this show. I am not an expert on the MonsterVerse, so I can't go that far into it. But we want to give a shout out to Screen Crash and their Godzilla video explaining these first 2 episodes. It gave us a lot of information and cleared some parts up on where this universe connects and which movies connect with other ones. So it's cleared up a lot for us. We'll give a big shout out to them. We are still a little bit unsure though if the Godzilla movies from 2016 to 2018 is connected to this same universe, or if they are included in another universe. The next MonsterVerse film will be, as we said, Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire, which will be releasing in 2014. And we also need to say, of course, that was the big important thing, that this movie, or this series, takes place between the Godzilla movie from 2014, as well as Godzilla King of the Monsters from 2019. This movie takes place somewhere between that. In the timeline where they seem to be at the moment, except for the flashbacks, is 2015. So it takes place somewhere between that, though, 2014 and 2019. We also wonder a little bit after seeing this Screen Crash video if there will be other Titans later in the show. Or, of course, there will be other Titans. I assume we will get to see Godzilla once again, perhaps. It's his show, or it's not his show, it's Monarch's show, but I get the feeling that we will see Godzilla once again. And if there will be some other Titans as they were featured in Godzilla vs. Kong or Godzilla King of the Monsters, there were a lot of other Titans or monsters in this project, Godzilla King of the Monsters. So I wonder if we will see some other Titans in this project as well. I can only assume that we will see other Titans, because it will be weird if we didn't. Another fun fact that we got from seeking out some information regarding this project is that Matt Shakman is a director and producer of this show. Or he's the director, at least, of this Godzilla TV series. He may be the writer also. I don't think he's a writer. I think he's the director. And Matt Shakman, as you know, is also the director and producer of WandaVision. That we have totally forgotten about. But that's actually a fun fact. So we have seen Matt Shakman's projects previously in Marvel, and we, as you know, always love WandaVision. WandaVision was a great project. Maybe one of Marvel's best TV series to date. It's probably one of my favorites. It's my favorite Marvel TV series to date. We will probably do a rewatch on some of the movies now in the weeks going forward, as this show starts to get more interesting and get more information out to the global audience, so that you can piece together in what's connected and what's not connected. So that would be interesting to see. Otherwise, we enjoyed these 2 premiere episodes. They were pretty great. In terms of the overall story, it seems to be interesting enough that I want to follow this series every week when they drop new episodes, that I will watch them. I will definitely watch them. So that is pretty exciting, actually. I enjoyed these 2 premiere episodes. They were great. They were not amazingly super fantastic, but they were still great. I don't really remember any negatives about them. Maybe that they have this connection to the bigger universe that I always love to see. This, as in Marvel, that multiple movies and series connects together. This Monsterverse also has this aspect to it. So that was fun to see. It makes me excited to watch even more of the Monarch Legacy of Monsters. I can't really remember anything bad to say about it right now. It could, of course, have been... It's only been the 2 premiere episodes. We have only gotten 2 episodes, so I can't judge the show on a whole. So I will leave it at that. I can't judge the show as a whole picture. But for what we has gotten as far in as we have now, it was pretty darn solid. They should get a big applause, actually. They have outdone themselves on this next legendary Monsterverse project. So that is basically our review for Monarch Legacy of Monsters. As we said, new episodes are dropping every Wednesday, I think, or Wednesday night maybe, every week for 8 weeks to come. So be sure to catch up on these first 2 premiere episodes before new episodes drop weekly. We are sure to catch them up and give you a full series review after all 8 episodes have done releasing. If you want to wait for all episodes to release before you binge the project, be sure to catch up on this series review that will drop later when all the episodes are out. That would be an exciting time to get this all these loose threads and connect them in this legendary Monsterverse. So be sure to stick out for that. Coming up also on the Movie Clubhouse Podcast is our review for this new Netflix project that is called As Much As Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. Scott Pilgrim Takes Off will be our next series review. We will review the whole series at once because all the episodes have dropped. So be sure to stick out for that. And this has been Eddie at the Movie Clubhouse. Until we see you again the next time, have a great time watching.